Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest news across the northwest.
Hello there, here's what's on the programme this evening.
Emergency plans are activated to avoid overcrowding in northwest prisons, but will it help?
We can guarantee a prison cell for anybody who really needs to be in prison, so it's entirely down to the judiciary who they want to send to prison, but we will guarantee a prison cell for anybody who gets sent down.
A man's been arrested on suspicion of murder after a triple stabbing in Gorton. I'll have the very latest.
Calling all businesses in Rossendale. Are you looking for a new premises with potential? Well, the council might have you covered.
Checkmate. A care home resident makes his triumphant return to the chess table after 64 years.
And the moon was giving off an eerie red glow last night here in the northwest. It's actually full tonight. Will we get a chance to see it? I'll have the forecast later on.
So please stay with us for all of that. First tonight, the crisis in our prison system with emergency measures activated in all parts of the northwest.
The government's triggered a plan to ease prison overcrowding, which has been exacerbated by the sentencing of rioters and a wave of disorder. It was sparked after the killing of 3 girls and a mass stabbing in Southport exactly 3 weeks ago.
Operation Early Dawn means defendants waiting for a court appearance could be held in police cells until a prison space is available.
This comes as the government launches an early release scheme in weeks for some offenders. Tasha Kachiri has the story.
After far-right rioters took to the streets across the northwest, the government said it would take decisive action to bring them to justice. Since then, 460 people have appeared in magistrates' courts in relation to the disorder. But where will offenders go when sentenced? For years, our prisons have been overcrowded and at crisis levels. Sam Rowley served 15 months in an overcrowded prison.
What was it like being locked up for 23 hours a day?
The cells are that small and they're fitting 2 of you in it. One of you sat on the toilet eating your tea, so you can imagine how small they are.
And what did that do to your mental health?
Soul destroying.
The Prison Officers Association say more staff are needed to address the problem.
Well, I'm in my 33rd year as a prison officer, and when I joined the job, we were locking up 44,000 prisoners. We're now looking up 88,000 prisoners, and we're doing that with less staff than we had when I joined the job. That needs to change.
Today, the Ministry of Justice has announced temporary measures to tackle the influx due to the disorder by reactivating Operation Early Dawn across the northwest. It allows offenders to be held in police cells and not brought to court until a space in prison is available. They say it should stem the flow until the early release scheme kicks in September, where thousands will be released. The early releases don't apply to those convicted of sex offences, terrorism, domestic abuse or some violent offences. Professor Ethna Quinn says another way to address overcrowding is by looking at prison reform.
Well, I think there's 2 quite quick fixes, really. One is the number of women in prison who are there when it's non-violent offences and they've been given custodial sentences, and that could be changed straight away, and many are calling for that. And the second is to do with what's called joint enterprise, where young people are convicted of often violent offences that they have had no substantive contribution in. So they're swept into charges because they were in the area, they were a bystander. Sometimes they weren't even present, and they can end up with attempted murder and murder convictions on the basis of having been nearby when a violent incident occurred. And many people think that that's wrong.
The proportion of the sentence inmates must serve behind bars has also been cut from 50% to 40%. Many are worried that violent criminals won't be put in prison.
We can guarantee a prison cell for anybody who really needs to be in prison, so it's entirely down to the judiciary who they want to send to prison, but we will guarantee a prison cell for anybody who gets sent down.
As the courts continue to sentence those involved in the rioting, it's clear this complicated issue won't be fixed overnight. Tasha Kachiri, ITV News.
Well, our reporter Tim Scott is outside one of the worst affected prisons right now.
Yes, Tim, we're here in Preston is bulging at the seams.
Yes, Elaine, Preston Prison is currently operating at 150% over capacity. That translates as a seriously overfull prison, and it comes on the back of an inspection report last year which found this place was infested with rats. It also found out that new inmates weren't being given enough time out of their cells, and living conditions were described as poor. Now, Preston isn't the only prison in the northwest to be overcrowded. Alt Course is a close second. Forest Bank is also operating well over capacity. Meanwhile, the likes of Strangeways in Manchester, Liverpool Prison and Style Women's Prison, they're all operating at nearly full capacity. Now, regarding the decision to implement Operation Early Dawn today, the Prime Minister has said that he lays the blame firmly at the feet of the previous administration.
There was a basic failure, which is a failure to have enough prison places for the number of prisoners that were being sentenced to prison. That is about as basic a failure of government from the previous government as you could possibly have got. We've had to deal with that with the additional strain of the disorder of recent weeks. But as I hope we've been able to demonstrate, we've taken tough decisions. We've been able to prove that if you commit disorder, you can be expected to be put through the criminal justice system quickly, and we will continue in that vein. But I'm not going to pretend that this isn't a challenge. We will take the necessary tough decisions on this, but we should never, ever have been put in a position that we're in today.
Meanwhile, Merseyside's Police and Crime Commissioner has said that overcrowded prisons won't stop the police from doing their jobs.
We are very clear that it is business as usual. The police will continue to do their work. They will continue to make those arrests. The capacity is there to continue to do that. And as you say, there's been a huge amount of work in response to the disorder that we saw in the last couple of weeks. So absolutely that work is continuing. This is about making sure that those spaces are there, that we've got the capacity, that the system will work as smoothly as possible so the police and everyone can do their job properly.
Meanwhile, there have been more court appearances from people caught up in the recent unrest today. It seems that there is no quick fix as it stands for the prison overcrowding crisis. Elaine, Rob.
Tim Scott in Preston tonight. Thank you very much.
Next, a man's been arrested on suspicion of murder after a woman died in a triple stabbing in Manchester.
When armed police arrived on the scene in Gorton last night, they found 3 people, including a teenage girl with serious injuries.
Officers are stepping up patrols in the area. Our reporter Emma Sweeney is in Gorton for us tonight. Emma, what's the latest?
Well, Elaine, it was around 11:20 last night when the emergency services scrambled to the scene here at Barnard Road in Gorton after receiving numerous phone calls from concerned neighbours. Within minutes, we're told that armed police and paramedics arrived at the scene, where they discovered 3 stab victims, among them a 43-year-old woman who's been named locally as Alberta O'Binham. We believe that she was a mother of 4 and a member of the Ghanaian community. Police say that she died here at the scene of those stab wounds. Now, a 17-year-old girl and a 64-year-old man were taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police say that they arrested a man in his 20s on suspicion of murder at the scene, and they believe that he was known to the victims. Now, you can see there's still quite a lot of activity taking place here this evening. Still a number of forensic officers behind me, as well as those blue forensic tents, and as well as this police cordon. That all remains in place here this evening. Police also say that they've upped their patrols in the area. They want people, if they've got concerns, to speak to those officers. And they're also asking for anybody with dash cam footage or CCTV footage to come forward, because that may well help them to piece together exactly what has happened.
Emma in Gorton with the latest. Thank you.
A disgrace had teachers behind bars tonight after stealing more than £15,000 from 2 Catholic primary schools in Liverpool. Neil Metcalfe, who's 51 and from Chilwell, earned £80,000 a year. He started stealing money after maxing out his credit cards and racking up £100,000 of debt. The schools say his theft impacted resources for pupils. He's been jailed for 15 months.
Merseyside Police's former headquarters is up for sale. Canning Place in Liverpool has been the force's main base for more than 40 years. It's been described as the best regeneration opportunity in the country. The 2.5-acre site is a prime location overlooking the city's famous waterfront. The move to a new HQ at Rose Hill is saving the force more than £500,000 a year.
Mountain rescue call-outs are up by 10% in the Lake District so far this year. Crews say they've responded to more incidents without an increase in funding or volunteers. They're urging people to check the weather, explore the area responsibly and have the right equipment to reduce avoidable rescues.
Meanwhile, police and Coast Guards are urging people to be cautious after 2 women got into difficulties in the water in the Wirral over the weekend. Wirral rescue team were called to the Liso Lighthouse just after 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. The women, who were cut off by the incoming tide, were brought to safety and taken to hospital.
You're watching Granada Reports. Lots still to come on the programme tonight, including a family double.
Yes, we meet the siblings from Holmes Chapel who won Olympic rowing medals within minutes of each other.
And it's a full moon tonight, the first supermoon of 2024 and a seasonal blue moon. Will we get a chance to see it? I'll have all the weather details in a few minutes.
And here's what's still ahead on the ITV Evening News at 6:30 with Mary.
Coming up on the programme, tragedy at sea. A luxury super yacht sinks off the coast of Sicily. At least one person is dead. On board were British nationals, including the tech tycoon Mike Lynch. Are your energy bills about to take an unwelcome turn this winter? Experts predict a jump before the end of the year. And celebrations for the best friends who are so in sync they brought home an historic Olympic medal for Team GB. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Yes, all about the medals tonight. Small businesses in Lancashire are being offered a new and slightly novel place to set up shop as some public toilets are being put on the market.
You did hear that right. Rossendale Borough Council is selling them off as they're no longer in use. They say they offer a great opportunity for someone to develop their potential.
It's part of a new trend in public loos being made into community spaces such as cafes and barbers. Jennifer Buck has been to find out more.
Underused and now up for grabs. Only the locals remember this overgrown building in Edenfields in Lancashire as a toilet block. It's been locked up for 10 years, but instead of washing their hands of it, Rossendale Borough Council are cashing in. It's one of several redundant public conveniences being sold. These public toilets closed down during COVID and have never reopened, but instead of becoming a bit of an eyesore on the main road through Rossendale, the council is selling them up as prime real estate for maybe a shop or a little cafe to set up.
We've had quite a lot of interest actually in both sets of public conveniences. I think the size actually is of interest to people. They're usually fairly small, although the set here is a bit different. But yeah, to some people it's a great opportunity really to develop a business in what is often a small building and much more economical perhaps to fit out and run.
Now, if you're feeling flush, then any bog standard business can apply. The council are not putting an asking price on the door, but say they will consider any serious offers. Barber Jerry O'Brien was one of the first local businesses to see the potential of the old toilet block. 30 years ago, he persuaded the council to sell him the public conveniences in Rawtenstall, rather than knocking them down. Did people think you were mad when you bought up the public toilets?
Definitely. They said, what are you doing buying that? They thought, what's going on? He's bought the toilets. But as you can see, it's turned into a lovely building. And I think it's now in the heritage, so they're keeping it in the protected zone as far as I know.
What would you say to people who are maybe looking at setting up a business in some of the other toilets on sale?
I would say have a go, because there's usually a car park nearby and it's usually on the main road. Great opportunity for somebody.
The council insists there have been no complaints about the repurposing of the old toilet blocks, saying they were rarely used and difficult to maintain. So if you want to spend a penny, or maybe a bit more than that, for small businesses this could be the answer. Jennifer Buck, ITV News in Rossendale.
It's certainly a unique selling point, isn't it?
Yeah,
it looks great.
I'd be interested to see the estate agent listing for that one.
Now then, it's been a weekend of celebrations for Team GB, whose success at the Olympics was marked with a homecoming party in Manchester. Thousands packed into the AO Arena to catch a glimpse of some of the stars from the Paris Games. Great Britain won a total of 65 medals, including a gold and a bronze, belonging to brother and sister Tom and Emily Ford from Holmes Chapel in Cheshire. The two rowers chatted to me earlier, Emily in the studio and Tom in London, and Emily told me how life has been since getting home.
We've been able to go and share the moment with other people, and like even going into the village, we've bumped into kids, we've bumped into my grandma's old friends, and it's just so nice to be able to share like this medal, this moment with them all.
You have that Olympic medal around your neck.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Has that left your side yet?
No. I mean, I haven't slept with it yet, like people keep asking me, but no, I have taken it lots of places. Like I say, I just want to be able to show people and for them to be able to hold it, because there's more than just our boat and us in this medal. So many people have helped us achieve this. So yeah, it's for everybody to share.
OK, let's bring in Tom. Tom, you have your gold medal around your neck. Let's take a look, please. What does it mean to you to have won gold? I know it was bronze in Tokyo 3 years ago. What does it mean to have that gold?
Yeah, firstly, sorry I can't be there with you in the studio, but it's obviously a dream come true, and to be able to win this medal alongside getting hers as well it's even more special. It's something that I don't think either of us in our wildest dreams would have thought could have happened. So for it to have come true it's unbelievable.
Now, Emily won her bronze medal just minutes before you climbed into your boat for your race. Were you aware that she'd won bronze?
Yeah, so we were warming up. So there's the racing lake and there's a warm-up lake. We managed to sort of ask our cocks how Em had done, because we could see her row past, and then on the big screens, and he let me know that she'd got the bronze medal. So gave myself a little fist bump, a little cheer, and then it was like focused back onto us, because obviously we had a job to do. So you sort of have to like, unfortunately, suppress a little bit of emotion. But once we got off the water and I got to see it, that was unbelievable.
And Emily, I'm guessing you were still at the finish line as he crossed the line. What was that moment like? And what was it like to celebrate with your brother there?
It was honestly just incredible. I mean, this photo that we can see here, that it'll stay with us forever. But that is just moments after we've just seen each other. So yeah, that holds a lot of memories to me.
That photo, I suspect, will be on a lot of mantelpieces in your family.
Yeah, definitely. Or in the bathroom, that's what everyone says.
Now, the closing ceremony. You got very, very close to Tom Cruise, didn't you? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we because he jumped off of the roof, we created a channel of people, and he walked through and gave everyone a high five. So I got involved with that, gave him a high five, and then probably held his hand a little bit too long.
Security stepped in.
They actually didn't. I think he was loving it, I think.
Let's look to the future. What about Los Angeles in 4 years' time? Emily, let's start with you. Is that very much a target?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a no. It's a target, but for now I'm just going to have a break, think about what I want to do. I want to work with children from disadvantaged backgrounds and using sport to help them through life. So I'd probably start and do a bit of volunteer work with that for a few months once I decide what I'm going to do.
And Tom, what about you? I know you're a couple of years older, but you'd be 35, is that right, by the time LA comes around? That's young enough, isn't it?
Yeah, you're only as young as you feel, aren't you? The LA Games will be amazing. The US do sports extremely well. They'll make the whole event incredible. So it's a very tempting prospect, but I think at the moment just take a bit of time, let the body recover a little bit, and then we'll go from there.
Well, listen, you guys enjoy some well-earned rest. Congratulations to you both. It is an incredible achievement. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're a great sporting family. It was wonderful to meet them today.
Absolutely lovely. That was a strong grip with Mr. Cruise, wasn't it?
You didn't want to let go, did you? No.
I'm not letting go at all, no.
Now to a chess lover from Salford who's been back playing the game he loves thanks in part to his old club in Eccles.
Billy Unsworth has been playing chess since he was 5 years old, but after suffering a stroke at the age of just 32, he lost the use of his left arm and moved into a care home.
But staff there helped him to access online chess, but it wasn't the same for Billy until his former teammates surprised him. Jamal Williams-Thomas takes up the story.
Welcome home, Billy! Welcome home.
No sooner than Billy Unsworth walks through the door, it's game on. After being out of the game for years, he's back to the chessboard. After discovering the game at just 5 years of age and playing all his life, Billy recently moved to a care home. The only problem was, nobody there knows how to play chess.
Yeah, so when Billy first came here, he usually used to spend most of his time in his room isolated, and he was often angry and short-tempered. However, as time passed, he underwent a significant transformation.
That transformation came when some of the staff in his care home skydived to raise money for a large tablet, on which they installed a chess app, so he could start playing virtually.
Especially where I can beat it then. I think I can beat most computers. I mean, this isn't very strong. It's not.
He found it easy to beat the computer.
Yeah. I'm winning this game.
And now Billy has gone back to Eccles Community Chess Club to play with his old pals in real life. Just tell us how good it is to have Billy back here.
Oh, it's tremendous. I've known him for 25 years and haven't seen him for the past few years. I didn't know what had happened to him, really.
At the old chess club, I made friends with him there. He's great, yeah, I really missed him, yeah.
The club are now going to renew Billy's English Chess Federation membership so he can get back to his winning ways.
Checkmate.
Maybe I'll stick to basketball instead. Jamal Williams-Thomas, ITV News, Eccles.
I think Jamal should have had lessons from Billy.
Yes, just a few. Maybe not give him basketball lessons, though. It's been a bit cooler today. What surprises do we have in the weather? Here's Joe.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. A very good evening to you. This week things are looking rather changeable weather-wise. There will be some sunshine around at times, but a few showers. It's becoming quite unsettled and rather windy. We've seen those winds picking up today. And although temperatures by day will reach a seasonal average, it's probably going to feel quite fresh and cool with a very active jet stream pushing a conveyor belt of low pressure systems towards the UK through the rest of this week. So rather showery at times and unsettled in the run-up to the weekend, with some fresh winds. Gusty and gale force for Irish sea coasts over the next few hours, and a band of rain pushes its way eastwards before midnight across most parts of the northwest. A few heavy bursts on it, the early hours showing signs of things settling down somewhat, winds easing off, but a feed of showers continuing to move through across the Isle of Man, North Lancashire and Cumbria before tomorrow morning. It's not a chilly night, 14 or 15 degrees, most places waking up to drier and brighter conditions tomorrow. The sun will be up at 5:59, setting at 8:28 tomorrow evening. Bright and breezy to start the day tomorrow, with quite a few showers feeding through across northern parts of the region initially, and then for all of us during the afternoon, a smattering of showers, bright or sunny spells, breezy conditions, it has to be said, and a fresh feel to the day. Tomorrow afternoon, perhaps temperatures peaking at around 19 Celsius. Looking ahead to the next few days or so, showers will never be too far away. One or two sharp ones to come with quite a good deal of cloud on Thursday. Temperatures are on the fresh side. By night, at least, it's not too chilly, but it remains unsettled into this weekend. Bye-bye.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
And just before we go, meet the lovely Mary Spires.
She has just celebrated her 106th birthday.
Mary, a huge Manchester City fan, as you can see, was given a signed shirt to celebrate and even got a special surprise happy birthday message from Jack Grealish.
Hey Mary, it's Jack Grealish here. I just want to send a quick video message. I've heard it's your 106th birthday. I want to wish you all the best. I hope you have a lovely day.
Love that. Happy birthday, Mary, from all of us here.
Yes, she got 300 cards. Good night.
100. Good night. Where do you...